Welcome to Unraveled Mind. My name is Antonio, and I'm here with you today to talk to you about authenticity, your guide in life. Stay tuned, and let's play. This is my third video in my Life Mastery series. Links for the full playlist will be in the description. Feel free to check them out. So let's start by trying to understand what is authenticity. And in order for us to do that, it's important that we first understand this concept of values. What are values and what do they have to do with authenticity? And values are something that's deeply personal and deeply individual. Every different person will have different sets of values. And these values influence how they see life, and they influence how they act in life, whether they are conscious of it or they are not conscious. I would argue that most people are not conscious of their values, and therefore they are guided and influenced in an unconscious way. And part of our goal, at least my goal in my life and my goal in my coaching practice, is to try to bring our awareness and to raise our consciousness and to make our values a little bit more clear to us so that we can then follow them in a more conscious way. And why is it important? It's because in the end, our values are the compass in our life. They are what tells us what do we need to do in order to live a good life. Because if I value freedom, if I value adventure, if I value love, I will have a very different set of rules towards living a good life as opposed to someone who values security and values community and values individuality. And that would be a very different set of rules that need to be followed and a very different life that needs to be lived in order for them to feel satisfied. Someone who values adventure will like to travel, will like to jump out of airplanes, will like to go trekking and camping, and they need to do this, whether they are conscious of it or not, for them to feel satisfied and to feel like their life has meaning and purpose, because they really crave this adventure. As opposed to someone who really likes security. They can still engage in these activities, but they are not such a high priority for them to feel when they are not traveling, when they are not jumping out over airplanes. They don't feel like something is missing. They don't need this adrenaline rush. They just like the feeling like they have their life in order, everything is nice and orderly, it's nice and secure, and they feel safe. And that's what they need in order to live a good life. So your values are the compass that tells you where do you need to go, what do you need to do in order to live a good life. And of course there's a lot more that can be said about values, but since this video is about authenticity, I would like to focus there. Maybe I can do in the future a video more specific about values. But how do then authenticity comes into play? From what I was describing, values seems to be the important part here. Why do we need authenticity? Values is what I need to understand. Yes, to an extent that's true, but as I said, most people are not clear on their values, and it's a process of self-discovery in order for you to really be 100% clear on your values. It's not easy. I've been working on mine, and of course I have now more clarity on what's important to me, but it's still not 100% clear every step of the way. But that's where authenticity comes in, because what I find so exciting and why I think authenticity is so important is you don't need to know what your values are. If you understand this concept of authenticity, it will serve as a feedback mechanism for you. Because authenticity, for me, and how I would describe it, is a state of alignment. When you are aligned with your values, you feel authentic. You feel like you have integrity. And you experience this, you feel this in yourself. I'm feeling authentic. I'm feeling like everything is aligned as it should be. Even though you might not understand what is aligned, but you will experience this positive, if I can describe it like this. You will experience this positive feeling, as opposed to when you are misaligned with your values, you will also feel it as a lack of authenticity. You don't feel authentic. You feel something is out of place. Even if you don't know what it is, you feel something is wrong. You might feel stuck. You might feel like life is not turning out the way that you wanted, and you might feel like something needs to change. And that's how it normally comes to us. Something needs to change, even though we don't really know what. And that's why it's authenticity for me. It's key. First, it allows you to really self-reflect on, am I doing the right things? Do I feel authentic? Then I know I'm going in the right direction. If I'm not feeling authentic, I'm not going in the right direction. And another way that I like to explain this is, if you're anything like me, you probably, in some time in your life, you've wondered, wouldn't it have been great if we were born with an instruction manual? We were born into this world, and we didn't have an instruction manual. We don't know what to do. Whenever we buy a new computer, a new phone, it always comes with an instruction manual on how to, what you need to do in order to use this device appropriately. But with our bodies, in our human condition, we never came with an instruction manual. What do we need to do? What do I need to do to feel happy? This is what I want, but I really don't know how to get there. And for me, authenticity is your guide. In a way, it can be seen as your manual to living a good life. Because if you really understand this concept of authenticity and you use it in order to fine-tune decisions and how you are in your life, you'll be able to converge in your values. Because if you use this, if I'm not feeling aligned, it's because I'm not aligned with my values. So my compass, even though I'm not 100% clear on where this compass is pointing to, I know that I'm not aligned with my compass. So I know that if I keep in this direction, I will not get to wherever my compass is pointing to. And what I'm offering you is this compass of your values, is telling you where you need to go in order to feel like your life has meaning and you're living a good life. So if you feel like you're not aligned with this compass through not feeling authentic, then you know that if you keep in this path, you will get to a point where this disalignment will grow and grow, because you probably heard of this, that if a plane is leaving Frankfurt and going to New York, it has to be on a very clear heading. If when it leaves Frankfurt is disaligned by 1 or 2 degrees, by the time it should be in New York, it's going to be in a completely different place, because a small misalignment for a very long time will create a very big gap later on. So it's always important to correct these things. And authenticity is what allows you to do this, is this state of alignment that allows you, even though, once again, just to reiterate, even though you are not 100% clear on your values, you can know if you're aligned with something within you that tells you, am I aligned where I want to go in this life or not? And that's what authenticity can offer you. Now that's a little bit more clear what authenticity is, I would like to focus on why is it important? Why should anyone care whether they are authentic or not? And of course, from what I explained previously, I hope it's a little bit clear for you of one of the reasons why this might be important is if you have this inner compass of your values, and you might be conscious of them or not, but if this compass is pointing to a good life, you would want to pay attention to this feedback mechanism, which is the authenticity, that allows to tell you whether you're going where this compass is pointing towards or not. Because if you are going in the direction the compass is pointing towards, what I'm telling you is that it will lead to a good life, a fulfilled life, a life you will be satisfied with by your own standards. I cannot tell you where it's pointing to, I just can tell you that for you it's pointing towards this satisfied and fulfilled life. Of course, if this is not something that appeals to you, feel free to do everything, the opposite of everything that I'm saying in this video, and just ignore it completely, or whenever you're feeling aligned, make sure to, to do everything differently next time. And another thing that I think it's fundamental, and why I care deeply about this feeling of authenticity, is because when you're coming from a place of authenticity, when you're coming from a place where you are aligned with what truly is important to you, you feel comfortable. You feel comfortable because deep within you, you know that you are doing the right thing. Whatever right is, it's not universal. You doing the right thing doesn't mean that other people will think you are doing the right thing. And often than not, you doing the right thing for you means other people will tell you are doing the wrong thing because it's not the right thing for them. And that's completely fine. But if you truly feel authentic, you are going to come from a place where you are comfortable in your own skin. You feel secure because you know you are doing the right thing. And when people come, and they will come and tell you what you're doing is nonsense. You should be doing this instead. Or they will cast doubt. They will judge you in some way. You will not be so affected. Because why do we care about what other people say? Why are we affected deeply by other people's opinions? And it's completely normal if you are. Everyone is. And it is because deep down we fear we might be wrong in some way. We fear we might be doing the wrong things. We fear they might be right and we might be wrong. And it's completely normal. And of course, feedback is always good. It's important to have this internal feedback mechanism with the authenticity, but external feedback is also important because we all have blind spots that we cannot see. But when you're deeply feeling authentic and you're feeling aligned, you are going to know what you're doing is right. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but you know it's going to be right. And therefore, making hard decisions is going to be easier for you because you have this compass. You know what needs to be done. It can be hard, and there will be lots of decisions in your life that you know are right, but you wish they weren't because they are going to lead you down a hard path. But why do people make these decisions? Why does anyone chooses the hard path? It's because they are connected to their own authenticity. They feel it, they value it, and they know that in the end, it's going to bring them the reward that they want, which, as I've been saying in this video, is living life well by their own standards. And it's also important because you also feel secure. You also feel like you accept yourself. Another reason why we are very reactive and we are very affected by other people's opinions is because they trigger insecurities in us. They say something, common way is a physical appearance, or maybe what you're doing with your life. We have insecurities because we don't know, am I doing the right thing? How do I look? And we don't accept these things in us completely, and so it's very easy for our foundations to be shaken. But when we come from a place of authenticity, when we come from a place of security, these foundations are rock solid. They are built on something deeply meaningful for us, which is the values. And once again, this is the interesting part, at least for me. You don't need to know what your values are in order for you to build this foundation on these values. But if you deeply care about authenticity and you deeply care about building these foundations, this is another great advantage that it comes, is that these values, these deep foundations will become clearer and clearer as you move on. Because you become so attuned to this feedback mechanism that you start to see patterns. Yes, when I do this, I feel this misalignment, but why? And then you start questioning it, and because this is the opposite to freedom or love or whatever else that whatever value is not being respected when I do this. And this directly leads to self-knowledge, you understanding yourself, you understanding why you do the things that you do, and you making the decisions that you do in life more and more conscious. And that allows you to once again, feel comfortable in your own skin, feel secure, and accept who you are, because you truly can see what is there, and it is what you want to see there. You don't need to change anything because you feel it's what you want to see there that it's there. And this is why, for me, very personally, it's very important for me to think about this concept of authenticity. And before I run out of battery and I have to end this video, I'd just like to take a few minutes to give you some tools, techniques, things to consider on how to be more authentic. If you really resonated with the things that I said and now you see authenticity in a new light and you now want to place more focus and attention on it, what can you do? And that's what I want to focus. Once again, this is very personal, and what we are trying to do is uncover your own manual and your own guide to your life. But I can tell you what are a few things that have worked for me in uncovering my own manual, and a few things that work with the people I've worked with, people I've came into contact, and hopefully through their experiences you can take some wisdom that you can then apply to yourself. A few things, and more important is always this idea of self-knowledge. You have to know yourself. That always helps. That comes as a result of focusing on authenticity. And it's both the beginning, because if you start to learn more about yourself, authenticity comes easier. But as authenticity comes easier, you learn more about yourself. So it's a little bit of infinite feedback mechanism, but it's an interesting. So anything that helps you learn more about yourself is going to be helpful. As I mentioned in my video about awareness, awareness is the first step. And so anything here that helps you raise your awareness will also have positive benefits. So when it comes to authenticity, so journaling is going to be very useful. Meditation can also be very useful. Just checking with yourself regularly, just putting an alarm clock or an alarm on your phone with a question such as, how am I being authentic right now? And just considering this question regularly in your day-to-day, it's already going to bring you a few insights. Sometimes you'll feel, something right now feels authentic. Right now I feel like I'm doing authentic things and I'm being authentic. Other times it will not feel this way. And if you just capture that moment of awareness, then you can start to see patterns, and that will also help you. And one thing that I really would like to just mention here, because it can be a very big trap that a lot of us fall into. I fall into this still in a lot of areas in my life, and it's a shame because it's really a trap that if you don't know it's there, it's gonna get you. And my intention here is just tell you that this trap exists for you to hopefully, when you are falling into it, you notice and you can go around. And the trap is when you're feeling authentic, when you're feeling aligned, when you're feeling like everything is going in the way that it should, which is, as I said, you feeling authentic, things can feel very natural. You feel like everything flows naturally from you. The things that you do feel natural. It's this feeling of things flowing effortlessly. This is something that's another big advantage of you being more authentic, because when you're authentic, things tend to flow naturally, and it's not a struggle. You're not struggling with life, you're dancing with life. And because of this, then people make this association between authenticity and things feeling natural. And it's not exactly the same thing. Things feeling natural tends to come as a result of you being authentic. But you should not use it as a judgment of things being authentic to you or not. So what I mean by this is, at the beginning of any change that you do in your life, of any new experience, it's normal for things to be uncomfortable and to feel unnatural. That doesn't mean they are not authentic. That's the distinction. Because if you make this distinction, if you make this connection in your head that authenticity means feeling natural, you're going to be stuck, because then you're not going to be doing anything new, because new change is uncomfortable. it's unnatural. It will become natural if it's really something that is authentic to you and you engage more and more. But at the beginning, it will not be natural. And a lot of people really block themselves, and they avoid and reject doing new things because of this excuse. But that's not me. That's not who I am. That's not truly me. And then they don't change. They stay stuck. This is common with exercising. I'm not someone who goes to the gym. I'm not someone who eats healthy, who goes on diets. I'm not someone who starts a new business or is an entrepreneur. I'm not an entrepreneur. I have these ideas and I have these desires, but this is not me. And so they block themselves, and that's really a shame, because if you just accept that things are not necessarily natural at the beginning, that doesn't mean they are not important to you. You can really make this nuance, because it's not a very easy distinction to make, but it's a very important one. And I hope it's becoming clearer with an example, and that's exactly what I would like to offer you. And a very easy example for me in my life is this YouTube journey that I'm starting. It feels very not natural. It's not very natural. I'm feeling very uncomfortable being on camera because it's not something, it's new. It's not something that I've done very often. And it's not easy. As you probably noticed, this Easter holiday break was a little bit longer than expected, and I apologize for that. I will go back to being more consistent in the future, but it's not natural. But as I do this, and the end result, and seeing myself putting my message out there and talking about these topics, that feels very authentic to me. And that's what allows me to continue moving despite this not feeling comfortable and this not feeling natural, because it feels aligned. I feel authentic when I'm doing, which tells me that this is the right way. Even if it doesn't feel natural, this is what I need to do in order to get closer to living this fulfilled, satisfied life. And I do feel fulfilled when I release a video. Even though it's not natural, I do feel fulfilled. So it really tells me that something about what I'm doing in my YouTube journey feels authentic to me, and I want to keep pushing. But it definitely doesn't feel natural yet. But I don't let that stop me. So don't let that stop you either. And I would like to finish here. I don't want this video to be too long. As always, feel free to drop any questions, drop a like, share this video with someone you think could benefit from it. And as always, there's my website, unraveledmind.com. Feel free to check it out. And I will be with you in the future with the next video. Hopefully I will be more consistent. Now in 2 weeks time there will be a new video, and stay tuned. And I'm very happy, despite not feeling so natural being on camera. I'm really happy to be doing this, and whoever is watching, I truly appreciate you being here with my journey and allowing me to be on this journey to spread my message, because I think that's something that right now it's important to me, and I hope you can also take some value from the things that I talk about, and we can be in this symbiotic relationship. I'm sharing a message that I think it's important, and I want to be more talked about in our society and in our world. And I hope that by me talking about this message, you can also take things into your own life and improve it and take value from it. So thank you so much, everyone, and see you soon.